Welcome to another YouTube tutorial. I'm so excited to share this guide with you guys today. I'm really looking forward to this video. This guide is a TvZ guide on Hellion Banshee into 8 racks. 8 racks is a little bit different than the standard macro play. However, it's really powerful, and I think this build is a super strong build for ladder because you stay safe early on by going Hellion Banshee. You also have great aggressive potential with the Banshees, but the follow-up, most importantly, lets you have an incredibly fast and scary push. So to get into this build, this is 16 racks and 16 gas. Nothing too crazy. But I really do think this is a strong build for ladder, and I'm excited to see what success you guys have with it. Tell me, if it works for you or not. 8 racks was really popular. I think it was TvZ. You could correct me if I'm wrong. During that time, and it's kind of fallen off since. However, that doesn't mean that it's the worst build either. The builds that they did back then were a little bit more all in. This variation, however, doesn't get add-ons on the last 3 barracks, so you're not quite as all in, and therefore you can kind of transition out of it. And that's what I really like about this build, is you're not completely avoiding the late game. You just have a really strong push leading up to it. Okay, so Reaper FE. Follow it up with the depot. Of course, you're going to get your factory next. I like to scout off the barracks. I should have mentioned that earlier. But that's just a personal preference. Reaper Marine. Again, factory. Get a refinery. Reactor. All the while having constant Marine production. Saturate that gas geyser. Not a lot going on at the moment. This is usually when you're microing your Reaper against, 4 lings. Alright, we're going to do the old swap-a-roo. Get a depot after you start 2 Hellions, and get a tech lab on the barracks. In a minute, we're going to add on swap with the starport landing on the tech lab, and the barracks will make another tech lab. The add-on swapping with this build might be a little confusing at first. Just take notes, and it's not too bad once you get used to it. You're going to go up to 6 Hellions with this build, not 8. You get that production tab going for you. Cloak and Banshee as soon as you land. You want Cloak first. Cloak first, it's just really important. Around 4 minutes, start up that stim. Alright, around 4:20, you're going to get your 3rd CC and another depot. You need to get a depot right away, or you'll get supply blocked because of the Banshee. Then start up your 2nd Banshee. I like to rally my Banshee kind of like just a little bit in front of my base, the 1st Banshee. I don't like it to go, like, this is personal preference, okay? I just don't want my Banshee to go in case roaches show up. And also, one Banshee doing damage is kind of hard. Usually you group them in 2, and you get more damage with it. 4:45, you're going to get your next 2 racks, followed up with 2 NG bays. The factory, after it lifts, will make a reactor. And then once the starport's done, that factory is going to land on the tech lab and start tank production. And the starport will build another reactor. I know it's kind of complicated add-on swapping. Like I said, just try your best to pay attention and imitate it. Start up +1. 1-1 as soon as you can. Saturate those gases, tank. Land that barracks on the free reactor. Orbital. For a while, just do 1 depot production. You don't want to overmake depots. That can happen. 2 more barracks. You can get them quite early with this build. Start up combat shields in a second. Let's see, when do I start it? I'm assuming, there we go, combat shields. Drop a mule, land the 4th, or sorry, land the 3rd. By this time, maybe a little bit sooner as well, you're going to want to start double depot production. And here's where hopefully our macro is good enough to help us meet some of the next benchmarks that we have with this build. We're going to want to stop at 60 SCVs. That's right, cut at 60 SCVs. Don't make more than that if you're going to do this variation. Your drop's going to leave right around 645, depending on how fast you get your medevacs out. You want to have 150 supply by 8 minutes and max out by 9 minutes. There we go. I finally transferred that over to saturated working line. So you're just producing marine tank, medevac from here. As soon as 1-1 finishes, start up 2-2. You might need to also start doing 3 depot at a time with 8 racks because your supply just inflates really fast. And as soon as you can afford it, throw down your next 3 barracks before 4th command center. We're not going to get our 4th command center until much later, but we will get it. This isn't completely all in. The way I like to look at this build is it's kind of like the 3-1-1 in TVP. You'll cut SCVs around 46 for that 2-base push, but then you macro afterwards. Kind of the same situation with this build. You're just hitting a really powerful spike a bit earlier than if we didn't make these kind of cuts. You can see just after 8 minutes we are over 150 supply. That's really good. You're just constantly making tanks. If you have to keep that tank production constant, you don't want any gaps because you're only producing out of 1 factory. You do not get 2 factories with this build. Not until later. You can see we're starting to gear up for our scary push. Don't get add-ons in the barracks. Keep them, naked barracks on the last 3 barracks. We'll get add-ons later. And to be honest, right about now, you want to leave, and I also could have thrown down a 4th CC as I did it. My 4th CC could have been faster this replay. That's okay. Just know that your main priority is to max out by 9 minutes and push. You really need to push by 9 minutes because if they get to hive tech and you haven't pushed it, you just have marines, which versus ultras aren't that good. So the sooner the better. Now that we're maxed, start up your tech labs, get your reactors, get a 2nd factory, throw down more CCs if you continue to float like I am. By 9:30, you're gonna hit a really powerful timing. If you want to do the bio-mine transition, which I think is good for late game, you can go up to 10 racks. That's only if you're really committed to staying on bio-mine, though. But I like it. It's probably my favorite variation to do in late game. And you'd want to resume SCV production as you traded out units. So go up to 74 now. So now you're going to want to produce Marine Marauder, Mine, and Medevac for the late game if you follow this late game transition. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.